Hello everyone, this is Aljuline, and in this video we're going to talk about survey research. This video aims to discuss the definition, the classification, the method used, the characteristic, and more. So I encourage you to watch this video until the end so that you will learn something. Thank you. Survey research. Survey research is a method used for collecting data from a predefined group of respondents to gain information and insights to various topics of interest. They can have multiple purposes, and researchers can conduct it in many different ways depending on the methodology chosen in the study's goal. Hence, it is essential for us to understand the benefits of social research for a target population using the right survey tool. The data is usually obtained through the use of standardized procedures to ensure that each respondent can answer the question at a level playing field to avoid biased opinions that could influence the outcome of the research or the study. The process involves asking people for information through a questionnaire, which can be either online or even offline. However, with the arrival of new technologies, it is common to distribute them using digital media such as social networks, email, QR codes, or even URLs. Survey research can be classified into two methods: the longitudinal survey research and the cross-sectional survey research. Longitudinal survey research. This survey research involves conducting survey research over a continuum of time and spread across years and decades. The data collected using the survey research method from one time to another is qualitative or quantitative. Respondents' behavior, preferences, attitudes are continuously observed over time to analyze reasons for a change in behavior or preferences. For example, suppose a researcher is extend to learn about the eating habits of teenagers. In that case, he or she will follow a sample of teenagers over a considerable period to ensure that the collected information is reliable. Another method is the cross-sectional survey research. This kind of method, the researchers conduct a cross-sectional survey to collect insights from a large target audience in a particular time interval. This survey research method is implemented in various sectors such as retail, education, healthcare, SME businesses, and etc. Cross-sectional survey research can either be descriptive or analytical. It is quick and helps researchers collected information in a brief period. Researchers rely on cross-sectional survey research method in situations where descriptive analysis of a subject is required. Survey research also use some sampling method. These sampling methods are probability and non-probability. Probability sampling is a sampling method in which the researcher chooses the elements based on probability theory. There are various probability research methods such as sample random sampling, systematic sampling, cluster sampling, stratified random sampling, and etc. Non-probability sampling is a sampling method where the researcher uses his or her knowledge and experience to form samples. The various non-probability sampling techniques are convenience sampling, snowball sampling, consecutive sampling, and judgmental sampling and Dakota sampling. Process of implementing research method. First, decide survey questions. Brainstorm and put together valid survey questions that are grammatically and logically appropriate. Understanding the objective and expected outcomes of the survey helps a lot. There are many surveys where details of respondents are not as important as gaining insights about what customers prefer from provided options. In such situations, a researcher can include multiple choice question or close-ended question. Whereas if researchers need to obtain details about specific issues, they can consist of open-ended question to the questionnaire. Ideally, the researcher should include a smart balance of open-ended and close-ended questions. Use survey questions like Likert scale, semantic scale, net promoter score question, and etc. to avoid fence sitting. Next is finalize a target audience. Send out relevant surveys as per the target audience and filter out irrelevant questions as per the requirement. The survey research will be instrumental in case the target population decides to sample. This way, results can be according to the desired market and be generalized to the entire population. Send out surveys via decided mediums. Distribute the survey to the target audience and patiently wait for the feedback and comments. This is the most crucial step of the survey research. The survey needs to be scheduled, keeping in mind the nature of the target audience and its regions. Survey can be conducted via email, embedded in a website, shared via social media, and etc. to gain maximum responses. Analyze survey results. Analyze the feedback in real time and identify patterns in the responses which might lead to a much needed breakthrough for your organization. Gap, TORF, conjoint analysis, cross-tabulation, and many such service feedback analysis methods can be used to spot and shed light on respondent behavior. Researchers can use the results to implement corrective measures to improve customer or employee satisfaction. How to create a survey with a good design. A survey usually has its beginning when a person, company, or organization faces a need for information and there is no existing data that is sufficient. Take into account the following recommendation. First, define objectives. It is important to define objectives in the survey so that the survey would have meaning if the aim of the result and plan before deploying it. The survey method and plan should be in the form of actionable milestone as well as the sample planned for research. Appropriate distribution of methods for the samples also have to put in place right at the outset. Second is the number of questions. In conducting survey, the number of questions used in a market research study is dependent on the end objective of the research. It is essential to avoid redundant queries in every way possible. The length of the questionnaire has to go to be dictated only by the core data metrics that have to be collected. Third one is use simple language. One factor that can cause high survey dropout rate is if the respondents find the language difficult to understand. Therefore, it is imperative to use easily understandable text in the survey. And the last one is the question types. Consider the question types. There are several types of questions that can go into a survey. It is essential to use the question types that offer the most value to the research while having the easiest to understand and answer to our respondents. Using a close-ended questions like the net promoter score questions or multiple choice questions help increase the survey response rate. Now let's talk about the characteristics of survey questions. In survey questions, the first characteristic is the data collection. The second is the fundamental levels of measurement scale. The third is administering the survey, then survey logic, then the design, and the application is the last one. When we talk about data collection, whether it is an email, SMS, web intercept, or a mobile app survey, the single common denominator that determines how effectively you can collect accurate and complete responses is your survey questions and their types. Fundamental levels of measurement scales. 4 measurement scales are crucial to create a multiple choice question and a survey. They are the nominal, ordinal, interval, and the ratio measurement scales, without the fundamental of which no multiple choice question can be created. It is essential to understand those levels of measurement to create a robust research framework. Third is use of different question types. Multiple choice questions are the most common type of survey questions, in which some of the popular questions types are dichotomous question, semantic, differential scale question, rank order question, and rating scale question. Open-ended questions help collect in-depth qualitative data. Administering the survey. It is essential to plan the type of survey to ensure the optimum number of responses required for your study. It could be a mix of interviews and questions or a questionnaire. Interviews could be telephone interviews, face-to-face interviews, online interviews, and questionnaires can be personal intercept or web surveys. The fifth one is a survey logic. The logic is one of the essential characteristics of a survey. The objective of using logic in a study is to move a respondent based on their current selection to a question. Surveys keep logic and branching provide the ability to create intelligent surveys, meaning respondents can answer relevant questions based on their answers to screening question. Survey research scales. So there are 4 scales for measurement of variables. The first picture shows the nominal scale, the second is the ordinal scale, then the third ordinal scale, and the last one is the ratio scale. When we talk about nominal scale, it associates with number with variables for mere naming or labeling, and the numbers usually have no other relevance. It is the most basic of the 4 levels of measurement. Ordinal scale has an innate order within the variables along with labels. It establishes the rank between the variables of a scale but not the difference value between the variables. An interval scale, it is a step ahead in comparison to the other 2 scales, the nominal and the ordinal. Along with establishing a rank and name of variables, the scale also makes known the difference between the 2 variables. The only drawback is that there is no fixed start point of the scale. The actual 0 is absent. When we talk about ratio scale, it is the most advanced measurement scale, which has variables that are labeled in order and have a calculated difference between variables. In addition to that, interval scale orders, the scale has a fixed starting point. The 0 value is present. Research method based on contribution. So there are different ways of survey distribution. The common are email, by respondents, embedding websites, post to the social network, QR code, question pro app, API, SMS. When we talk about email, it is sending out of email is the easiest way. It is the easiest way of conducting a survey. The respondents are targeted and there is a higher chance of response due to respondents already knowing about your brand. You can use the Question Pro email management features to send out the collect responses. By respondents, buying a sample helps achieve a lot of the response criteria because the people who are being asked to respond have the sign up to do so. The qualifying criteria for the research study are met. Embedding on the websites. An embedding in a survey on a site ensures that the people of responses is very high. Embedding a survey can be done while the person enters the website or is exiting it. A non-intrusive method of collecting feedback is essential to achieve the higher number of responses. The responses achieved are also honest due to the top brand recall value, and the answers are quick to collect and analyze due to them being in a digital format. Post to social network. Posting on social networks is another effective way of receiving responses. The survey is published as a link on social media, and people can follow the brand, can be the set of audiences or respondents. There is no upper cap on the number of survey responses required and the easiest and fastest way of eliciting responses. QR code. Question Pro QR or QR codes store the URL for the survey. You can print or publish this code in magazines, on signs, business cards, or on use about any object or medium. Users with a camera phone equipped with the correct reader application can scan the QR code's image to open the survey in a phone's browser. Question Pro app. The Question Pro app allows to circulate surveys quickly, and the responses can be collected both online and offline. API. You can use the API integration of the Question Pro platform for potential responses to take your survey. SMS. Using SMS surveys are another quick way to collect feedback. This method can be used in quick responses and when the survey is simple, straightforward, and not too long. This method is used to increase the open and response rate of collecting data feedback. Survey data analysis. Statistical analysis can be conducted on the survey data to make sense of all the data that has been collected. There are multiple methods of survey data analysis, mostly for what is quantitative data. Most of the commonly used data are the cross-tabulation, trend analysis, MACDIF analysis, TORF analysis, gap analysis, SWOT analysis, and text analysis. When we talk about cross-tabulation, it is one of the most straightforward statistical analysis tools that is use a basic tabulation framework to make sense of data. Raw data survey can be daunting, but structuring that data into a table helps draw parallels between different research parameters. It involves data that is mutually exclusive to each another. Next is the trend analysis. Trend analysis, it provides the ability to look at survey data over a long period. This method of statistical analysis of survey data helps plot aggregated response data over time, which help to conclude the change in respondents' perception over time. MACDIF analysis. It is a research technique that helps understand customer preferences across multiple parameters. For example, a product pricing, features, marketing, and etc. become the basis of MACDIF analysis. In a simplistic form, this method is also called the best-worst method. This method is similar to conjoint analysis, but it is much easier to implement. Conjoint analysis. TORF analysis, or total and duplicated reach and frequency analysis, is a statistical research methodology that assesses the total market reach of the product or service, or a mix of both. This method is widely used by organizations to understand at what frequency is their messaging reaching the audience and if that needs tweaking. Turf analysis is widely used to formulate and measure the success of go-to-market strategies. Gap analysis, it is used as a side-by-side metric question type that helps regulate the difference between expected performance and actual performance. This statistical method for survey data helps understood what has to move production from practical to planned performance. SWOT analysis, another widely used statistical way organizes survey data into data that represent strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and traits of an organization or product or service that provides a holistic picture about competition. This method helps to create effective business strategies. Text analysis. It is an advanced statistical method where intelligent tools make sense of a quantify or fashion qualitative and open-ended data into easily understandable data. This method is applied to unstructured data,